Hi, I'm Paul Lisnek, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. My guest this hour is actress, comedian, author, producer, director, and cancer survivor, Fran Drescher. Today we're going to be talking about Cancer Schmancer, an organization that has a very powerful message. Fran, so good to be with you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
People look at you and you're the nanny. That's what we know you for so many years on air. Give me a quick reflection of thinking back to those days on The Nanny and what it was like to play that great character, Fran.
I'm so proud of it. And you know, it has continued to run since 1993, nonstop around the world. So wherever I go, people embrace me as the nanny, and I couldn't be more thrilled.
But during that show, the last couple of years of that show, you had a battle going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about watching that show.
Yeah, and I never took off a day of work, but I was going to 8 doctors over 2 years to try and figure out what was wrong with me. I definitely had symptoms, and I definitely felt something was the matter. I was misdiagnosed and mistreated until finally, after 2 years, in the year after The Nanny ended. And so it was a good thing that we wrapped up the show when we did, because we would have probably had to stop the show. So this way it wrapped up nice and neat. I was diagnosed with uterine cancer, and thank God I was still in stage 1. And so a radical hysterectomy was the cure for my cancer, but it kind of put me on a path of health advocacy. And as a result of that, I wrote the New York Times bestseller Cancer Schmancer, because I didn't want what happened to me to happen to other people. But when I went on my book tour, I realized what happened to me has happened to countless people by means of misdiagnosis and mistreatment. And as a result of that, for many, though fortunately not myself, late-stage cancer diagnosis. And so I realized the book was not the end, but just the beginning, and I started the Cancer Schmancer movement. Stage 1 is the cure.
It took you waited 7 years, really, 7 years of remission, of being clear of cancer, to say, we're going to go out. 5 years, I guess, is the magical time for people to be free of cancer. Talk to me about Cancer Schmancer, the movement. You're sending a message out to women, but it's to women, it's to doctors, it's to husbands, it's to men in your life. Just give me the sense of that overall message.
Well, you know, it's really, everybody must be able, you know, I mean, I always say, how many people here did not begin in the womb? And there's never a person that can raise their hand. So it's really not a woman's issue, it's really a human issue. And, you know, we as a society cannot neglect the very place where life begins. We have to improve best medical practices to include certain tests like the transvaginal ultrasound. All women should insist on that. They should be asking for a CA-125 blood test, which could detect early ovarian cancer. And they have to take control of their body, because the woman is the caregiver to the child, the spouse, and the elder in almost every home worldwide. At all costs, she must keep herself alive.
And most importantly, people think they're afraid to go to the doctor. You write in Cancer Schmancer, which should go back on the New York Times bestseller list after we talk about it. You write, just because you don't check yourself out doesn't mean you don't have cancer.
That's right. You know, we can't be Victorian about our bodies. Just because you can grin and bear it, don't do so. If you feel something funny, get it checked out right away, because early detection equals survival. If you can be detected with your cancer in stage 1, odds are you are going to live, and the longer you wait, the more the odds are against you of survival. So we're trying to do that. Start questioning how you live, and you know, thinking that things may be a little carcinogenic or toxic in your world. Start eliminating them. Don't wait for government or big business to tell you to start eliminating it. You know, listen to your inner voice. That's closest to your creator. And if you have digestive problems, if you're gaining weight that you don't understand, if you have a distended or bloated stomach, if your stool changed, if you have leg pain, all of these things, if you have tenderness under your armpits, can be early warning symptoms of women's cancers. Get it checked out immediately.
Fran Drescher, you are the nanny, a cancer survivor. You're one of my favorite people. Thanks for being with me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Paul Lisnek, and this was Comcast Newsmakers. Bye-bye.
The preceding was a presentation of Comcast Newsmakers. Now, back to Headline News.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Paul Lisnek, and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is the Emmy Award-winning actress Holland Taylor. We're going to be talking about the new play called Anne. which is written by and stars Ms. Taylor. Holland, it's great to see you.
It's wonderful to be here. I love Chicago.
Well, people look
How
at you.
not?
How can you not?
How can you not?
People look at you and say, that's of course, the mom in 2.5 Men. Yes, it
they
is.
do.
Emmy Award winning. Of course, I loved you in The Practice, in The L Word, and the movie Legally Blonde. And if I keep going through your credentials,
Those were
we'll have
great
no
roles.
time.
And George of the Jungle was actually a great part for me.
Talk about
I loved
Brendan
it.
Fraser for a while.
Oh, yes, let's discuss Brendan.
Let's talk about Ann.
Yeah.
We're talking about Ann Richards, by the
Right,
way,
absolutely.
governor of Texas. So what gives this star of stage and screen a desire to say, I think I'm going to write a play, because you've written this, about Ann Richards?
I did. I was really compelled to. It certainly wasn't a professional decision or some smart move. It's been an extraordinary amount of work, and I really had almost no life while I've been doing it, except it has expanded me and my life unbelievably. I was just very surprisingly moved, and for a long time when she died. I had met her once, but I didn't know her. And so I became very curious as to why months later I was still so mournful and so almost like a child, no, she can't be, because I discovered that I had always thought she would always be there, the way you feel about somebody.
But what's interesting is this play isn't because of her political views.
Not
that grafted
remotely.
you.
Not remotely. I mean, I'm sympathetic with her point of view, but it's really about her potency as a person, her power to comfort and yet be strong and inspiring. It's a very interesting blend of things. She could be mean as a snake, but people who worked for her and who were maddened by her cracking the whip had tears in their eyes as they described to me what a pain in the neck she could be and how much they loved her. It's the combination that just fascinated me. I had to find out why people loved her so much, why I loved her.
I think, first of all, a role you play in 2.5 Men, Evelyn Harper, I think in many ways is a larger-than-life role.
Yes.
I think Ann Richards is a larger-than-life person.
You better believe it.
What makes somebody larger than life?
Well, you know what? I don't know that there's really an answer. It's just something that you want to enjoy and relish, and you find so captivating and irresistible. Nobody could ever resist Anne. And people who worked for her, long after her administration was over, still worked for her, still were involved in things that she was involved in. Still, she would still say, could you prepare a brief for me on that, nuclear waste thing? And, they just ongoing connection.
And, of course, she talks to Bill Clinton on the phone, calls him Bill.
Absolutely, completely. Oh, they were actually very good chums and very good friends. And he, of course, spoke at her memorial, and Hillary spoke at the other one.
People say, when we come see Ann, which is playing at the Bank of America Theater downtown, we're not coming to see, this is not you giving a speech at a podium.
Oh,
People
this
need
is
to
not,
understand
it's
that.
not like, for example, Mark Twain Tonight, which was all in his words, and he was a lecturer, so the play could be a lecture. This is very lively. This has action. This has a whole centerpiece that takes place while she's governor. I mean, this is hot. This stuff happens. This is a very lively piece of theater.
And it brings you alive, I imagine, as well, when you're doing this role.
Woken me up. My life has taken on a whole new chapter because of Anne. Didn't know that was going to happen.
Does it make a difference that you wrote it?
To what? I mean,
in terms of performing something that you've written.
Oh my God, yes. I don't rewrite on my feet because it's a quite demanding play. But between the cities, when I've had a significant chunk of time off, I've honed and polished and written and improved. And I know a lot about her. I researched her for 3 years.
I've got you here. I have to ask you: is life in the world of 2.5 Men under Ashton Kutcher better, worse than life under?
It's just very different. It's very different. We all loved Charlie and loved Charlie. He was wonderful and a very, very gifted comedian. And Ashton is too, in a completely different way. Ashton's very inventive, very clever, very funny. Totally different personalities, so we can love Ashton and Charlie.
Thank you so much. We're going to look forward to seeing you at the Bank of America Theater in Anne, this fabulous play, November 13th to December 4th.
Great.
Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
Have a great run.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
This hour's newsmaker has been Holland Taylor, and I'm Paul Lisnek. Thanks for watching us here on Comcast Newsmakers. Hi, I'm Paul Lisnek, and welcome to a special edition of Comcast Newsmakers. Well, Donnie and Marie were in town to present a holiday show for Chicago audiences, and while they were here, I had the chance to sit down and talk about the life and the careers of the Osmonds spanning over 50 years. You guys have been in show business your entire lives. It started in 1963 with the Andy Williams Show. Donnie, age 7, you opened for Shirley Bassey at the Sahara, gold record in 1971. Marie, a huge hit with Paper Roses at 13. A very long time. The Andy Williams Show.
You
You were
keep
very young.
emphasizing old. You know, we started when we were 3.
Yeah, but
Well,
you
in
know, when
fact,
you get
you
right
did.
down to it.
You
I
did.
would bet I'm younger than you.
But when you get right down to it, we're both celebrating 49 years in show business. That's almost a century between the two of us.
Do you have a favorite? Is it stage? Is it
I don't want to
music?
hear that.
Yeah, but
Is
it's
it?
true.
What do you love? Stage, music, the TV, the game shows. What do you love?
I like it all. You know, it's.
I like the pizza. I like Chicago pizza.
I like to jump around.
Career, Marie. I was talking about
The
career.
thing is, you know, I love theater. I'd love to come back to Chicago, do another play, another musical one of these days.
Hey, Donnie, you were here for a little while.
I was here doing Joseph for a long time.
Year and a half.
I loved it. I lived up in the North Shore, and I'm going to go up there and visit some friends. I'm going to go shopping at Schaumburg. You know, I'm going to go all those places. And
Can you guys travel around here and be allowed to just travel around, or do you have fans kind of coming up to you all the time?
Oh,
People are
we
great.
love it when
They're very
fans come
sweet.
up.
They're darling. Yeah.
See, what's the problem is when they don't come up. Then you have to start to worry.
Well, they're still coming. Now, Donnie, by the way, I've got a couple little surprises here for you. From a collection, memorabilia collection. I want to see if you remember these items.
Where did you get that? That's my shirt.
It is your shirt, and
You wore it yesterday.
it-
as a matter of fact.
No, that was back in, I guess, the 80s or something.
No, I hate to say, it's 1977. It was
No.
part of your Vegas because there's a picture
Oh,
of you
really?
and Marie, as you see, wearing
Where did you get that
back
shirt?
in there. Oh, a long time ago it came my way.
I want my shirt back,
My
Paul.
He
question is,
actually
would
wore it
would it
himself.
still fit, Donnie?
You better believe it. After winning Dancing with the Stars, I'm in great shape.
Right, and by the way,
Oh, everybody knows he used a body double.
I did not.
all right,
I won that Mirabelle Trophy.
Yeah,
Dancing
but
with
I
the
did it first, okay?
Yeah, but
I
she
did
didn't
it.
win.
And we know the girls do all the dancing,
That's
and the guys
not true.
stand there and hold us.
That is not true.
Oh, kick
Yeah.
your leg over your head.
Oh, would you like me to do that right now?
Yes, please, do a split.
I'm a little tired.
Marie, I did have questions. I asked for questions. Somebody asked, will you ever make a Donnie dancing doll part of your collection?
I have. As a matter of fact, it's 20 years this year of designing dolls, and I did a Donnie doll.
Yeah, she's capitalizing on
I
my
put-
win.
I put pins in it.
Where's the mirror ball today, Donnie?
Yeah, I keep it in the lobby of the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas because, you know, we've been there.
Subtle.
We're going on our
Subtle.
4th year in Las Vegas. So I keep
I
it there
know.
so people can come up and take pictures of it. It's in a glass case so Marie doesn't steal it.
I love it. Donnie, something else to show you.
Where did you get that?
You'd be amazed. That one actually came
That-
from the Disney people.
I used that on Beauty and the Beast when I was doing that show back in
Does he have any
2007.
memorabilia on me? I'm just curious.
I've got some paper roses.
You've got paper roses.
You do not.
This was
Burn
important.
'em.
Do your kids get who their parents are? I mean, you know, will we ever get performers in those coming generations?
Well, I've asked my boys that. You know, some of them have great voices, and I have a great guitar player, a great drummer, and great musicians. They've pursued a normal life. You know, they want to. One is a doctor, one is majoring in marketing and things like that. So, probably not in front of the camera.
My oldest is 27. He just got married, and he actually has written a couple songs for me that are in the show. There's one, it's on the Donnie Marie album, and it's a single that I have coming out. I Can't Wait to Love You. He actually wrote it for his father and myself when we got remarried. So it's a great song. And very talented.
How's life as a grandpa?
It's the best. I mean, I've got 3 grandchildren now, and they call me Papa. And, you know, it's so nice. I love having children, but with grandchildren, you can spoil them and then send them home.
All right. I love it. Hey, Buppa, Marie, thank you for being with me.
Thank you. Good to see
Have
you,
a
Paul.
fabulous time in Chicago.
And one more thing. I want my shirt back.
You got it.
Okay.
An incredible career that Donnie and Marie have had thus far, and it's still going, 50 years and counting. I'm Paul Lisnek. Thanks for watching us here on this special edition of Comcast Newsmakers. Hi, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Paul Lisnek, and my guest this hour is actor, comedian, musician, activist Hal Sparks, in town because he's performing with the Sexy Liberal Comedy Tour, also the star of Disney's Lab Rats on Disney XD. Want to mention that. Hal, thanks for stopping in.
My pleasure.
And because you are so political, let's talk elections.
Yes.
Topic we love to talk. First of all, let me just ask you this. You know, what started as a conversation about the budget and fiscal responsibility has, it seems, shifted to a discussion about drill baby drill and social issues like contraception. Smart way for this election to turn?
No, I think it's conventional wisdom once again being turned on its head. I think those worked for a couple of decades, but I think they've gone to the well one too many times. The main reason being is that the public has moved on the social issues. and they're well ahead of the politicians on this. The acceptance of gay marriage, the acceptance of Latinos is way at a much higher level than it used to be, and therefore, when you try to fight them, it's not serving you as well as it did. Same thing is the problem with gas prices. 10 years ago, you could argue that when I come into office, the gas will go down, and when you come into office, they will go up.
promised $2.50 a gallon.
Exactly. The problem is, I think the public is now more educated on energy than they have ever been, largely because of 9/11 and our awareness of how much oil we take in, how much we spend. By the way, we were a net exporter for the first time. I think this last month, America is exporting more oil than we're taking in, which is almost like people aren't even aware of. The point being, though, is that you've got what if they're going to run on the high price of gas? Well, the public already knows gas is going to continue to go up forever until there's no more of it. It is a non-reusable, non-renewable energy fuel source. We are burning it or turning it into plastic. It is never ever going to be more of it. You can't grow it anywhere, so the price is going to go up. So we have to find a way out.
So everybody, including the president, looking for alternative sources. And when you see all the players in the room, some will describe President Obama as kind of the adult in the room as he's. But then again, maybe it's because he's got the job.
I think so. I mean, obviously, when you're trying to sell yourself, it becomes more of a reality show than a show of reality. In the case of, when you're running for president. But I do think you have to run as the adult if you're planning on running the country. If you're running as a local congressperson, you can be a spoiler. And you can go, look, I'll be the voice for this area because we all believe this one way and our voice isn't being heard in Washington. I may be overwhelmed at times, but I will say what we all believe. You can't be president that way because you're the president of everybody. And it's always going to anger the periphery. It's just going to. So you're a very liberal guy. Mm-hmm. How do you reach Republicans, right-wingers, Tea Partiers? Because if you don't have a conversation, nothing will get accomplished. Well, I think a large majority of what used to be, let's say, Reagan Republicans, exist largely in the Democratic Party now. You can actually have an entire conversation, legit conservative to legit liberal, entirely within the Democratic Party. You know what I mean? You can talk from...
You have them calling on your radio show on Saturdays, Hal Sparks show, right?
What you would call a Reagan conservative, but they actually are a Democrat by all practical purposes now, to the Dennis Kuciniches of the world. And you can scoop in the Ron Pauls of the world and almost the liberal side, the super liberal side of the Democratic Party, ironically enough. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's that hard to have a legit conversation if you're talking about how we all get it going. The problem is, I don't necessarily think that certain members of the right, what's left of the right now, have the same stake. I think the Romneys of the world, the Santorums of the world, want to cash out. They view America as sort of a renting property as opposed to a mortgage. They think at some point they're going to, especially in Romney's case, he's going to move his cash to the Cayman Islands and sell off the subsequent parts. America is only as good as her energy reserves underneath her. Once they're sold out, it'll be a carved-out nation.
So what you point out is it is a complicated argument.
Yes.
Want to talk about. Thanks for being with me. First of all, we'll check you out, halsparks.com. Mm-hmm. Find out when you're coming back to Chicago. Your radio show every Saturday on 8:20 a.m.
WCPT.
And your Twitter is at Hal Sparks. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for joining us. This is Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Paul Lisnek. He's Hal Sparks. Bye-bye.